With the arrival of February, the most awaited day of the month is the 14th of February. Valentine's Day, or the Day of Love, is celebrated on this date. And the event is celebrated all across the world with full enthusiasm and joy. A majority of Muslims does not celebrate this day, while those who do it do on the name of liberalism and religious freedom. The Quran says, "Guide us to the straight path, the path of those on whom you have bestowed your grace, not the way of those who earned your anger, nor of those who went astray." Now a Muslim needs to ask whether the Valentine's Day celebration is the right path. Is it the path on which the earlier Muslims followed? Is it the path that will lead to blessings from Allah Almighty? Or is it the path that will lead to the anger of Allah Almighty? Valentine's Day is haram. No matter how much a person would like to sugarcoat or paint it, wallahi, it will stay as haram. How many Muslims abstain from haram intermingling? We greet and even speak to ghayr mahrams. This is shameless and unbecoming of true Muslims. Everyone complains about the sad plight of the ummah, but we're the very same ummah who break the laws of Allah as if we're going to live forever and that we will never die and see the qabr. Every single person will taste maut. Death is inevitable. We're only going to live in this world once. We find an avalanche of stupid excuses to justify haram intermingling. So how then is the ummah expected to progress? Allah's punishment is around the corner, and every soul shall taste what He has sent forth for Himself. As we look around us, we realize that the young Muslim generation is very much affected by the concepts and ideas of the Western countries and foreign religions. Due to this factor, many of our Muslim brothers and sisters have forgotten their true identity. When they spend most of their time with the people who are far away from Islam, they tend to imitate their lifestyle. Valentine Week is created on the idea of celebrating love between two people, which developed as a concept in Western countries. Our religion is very clear and straightforward, and no one has the right to question the teachings of Islam. Among the feasts which were innovated by Shaitan and which are made pleasing to many Muslims by him is the Feast of Love, or Valentine's Day. The signs of celebrating this day, unfortunately, have started to spread among Muslims. Many Muslims have become captivated by the glow of Western civilization, along with its scientific and economic development. Therefore, they started to imitate the Westerners and their traditions and behavior. They drifted behind them, became deceived by their civilization, and thought highly of everything coming from the West. They acted as if these were aspects of development and civilization. The Prophet, prayers and peace of Allah be upon him, was true when he said about them, "You will certainly follow the ways of those who came before you, handspan by handspan, cubit by cubit, to the extent that if they entered the hole of a lizard, you will enter it too." They said, "Do you mean the Jews and the Christians?" He said, "Who else?" Whatever new trend is introduced by non-Muslims, they are so inspired by their mundane, worldly progress that they immediately fall for it, head over heels. And however filthy or impermissible that innovation is, they cannot distance themselves from it. This comes from natural weaknesses, love for novelty, haste, being a prisoner of the desires of nafs and shaitan, distance from religion, neither complying with the religion nor directing the children to follow the rules of Islamic manners and etiquettes. Now let's have a look at the history of Valentine's Day and how it was celebrated. The history of Valentine's Day is said to date back to the 3rd century CE. There was a priest named Valentine who lived in the kingdom of the Roman Emperor Claudius II. Due to some sort of disobedience, the king had the priest thrown into prison. The priest and the jailer's daughter fell in love with each other, and the girl abandoned her religion and reverted to Christianity. From then on, the girl would come to meet the priest every day with a red rose. When the king came to know about their affair, he ordered the priest to be hanged. When the priest was informed about this order, that he had been sentenced to death, he wished to spend the final moments of his life with his lover. And for that purpose, he sent a letter to her, at the bottom of which he wrote, "Sincerely yours, Valentine." Finally, the priest was hanged on February 14th. And ever since that day, 14th February is celebrated as a day of love. How this day is celebrated is that young boys and girls go out on dates, exchange gifts, and secretly or publicly indulge in vulgar, immodest acts as much as they can. According to a report, the sale of condoms skyrockets on Valentine's Day, and majority of the buyers are young boys and girls. Gift shops and flower shops are swarming with people. In countries with Eastern traditional values, where they don't have an open license to do as they please, young boys and girls look for secret spots. And for this very same reason, hotel bookings soar, alcohol sale and consumption spike, and an ocean of vulgarity and immodesty are seen at the beaches. It is extremely regretful and sad that on this day, even Muslims ignore the commands of Almighty Allah and His noble messenger and publicly commit sins, not only increasing the darkness of their book of deeds, but also polluting the sanctity of the Muslim society with their vulgarities, evil gazing, uncovered females, vulgarity, nudity, commingling of boys and girls, exchanging gifts to strengthen this impermissible relationship, and adultery things leading to adultery. No Muslim would have a shred of doubt about these things being impermissible and forbidden. We are ordered by our Creator to lower our gaze, because love usually starts from the eye. Tell the believers to lower their eyes and protect their private parts. The glance is a poison arrow of shaitan. Whoever lowers his gaze for Allah, He will bestow upon him a refreshing sweetness, which he will find in his heart on the day he meets him. And the Prophet offers one of the best solutions. The Messenger ﷺ said, "For those who love each other, nothing has proven as good as marriage."